We've been doing this too long. You know what it is. We are here. We are here. Welcome back to the Coaches Huddle. It's your boy, the coach, where the field meets family. And it's here, the four-man front. My guys, my ace Boone Coons, my closest collaborators, Grant Cohn, Brian G. Hensley, and Jesse Naylor. Talk amongst yourselves, gentlemen. How are you doing? Whoever wants to start. I know Jesse is such a stickler for this. So whoever wants to speak first can speak. I know he hates this. Jesse, how are you doing today?
Thank you for addressing me and giving us an order. That's great, host. I'm doing fantastic, coach. I am so good. So happy to be doing this with y'all. Cannot wait to hammer home these topics.
Ryan, talk to me.
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here on time. I just pulled my son out of college. He finished his freshman year, and so I went and grabbed him and got back about 5 minutes ago. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Hey, man, thank you. I'm glad you got here safe. That's important. And Grant, how are you, bro?
I'm just stupendous. I'm phenomenal. What would Trent Williams say?
Well, Trey Lance will say super excited. Trent Williams would say
tremendous.
I'm tremendous right now. Yeah. I'm tremendous. Yeah. So look, guys, let's get straight to it. We're all busy men. Thank you for your time. Let's get to the show. So with Deebo Samuel gone, Ayuk still working his way back through full strength, and the 49ers entering through training camp without a clear-cut number one wide receiver. Juwan Jennings is also coming off of a clutch-filled season. Ricky Pearsall is pushing for more reps. And now with recent news of Gabe Davis entering the fold possibly, is this a sign of deep trust in the wide receiver room or proof that they're scrambling to patch holes at the top of the depth chart? What are we looking at for who is our true wide receiver one? Did the Niners know? I'll start with you, Jesse, and then I'll work my way around.
Yeah, I don't think that they do know. I think you look at last year and Juwan Jennings was the clear number one, but Juwan Jennings is not a number one in the league. I think if most teams looked at it and said Juwan Jennings is our number one, you would think you would have some issues. So they would prefer to be Brandon Ayuk. That's who they paid to have be the number one, but he's not healthy. You bring in Robinson this offseason. He's most likely going to be suspended. The Gabe Davis one is interesting to me because the 49ers drafted 2 wide receivers last year. They drafted 2 more this year. It looks like they might have hit a home run with the Nayer UDFA potential signing there. So Gabe Davis doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Gabe Davis is a Josh Allen merchant. He played with arguably the second best quarterback in the NFL, and he looked okay doing it. He goes to the Jaguars, couldn't stay healthy, didn't do much of anything over there, and now he's potentially coming here. To me, I think the 49ers have set themselves up to retool this team and get younger. Bringing in Gabe Davis doesn't make a lot of sense, but it also tells me that maybe they don't have confidence in the room if they're still kicking the tires on a player like Gabe Davis. So we'll see what ends up happening, but they definitely need a number one wide receiver, at least for the 2025 season, because Brandon Ayuk is not yet healthy.
All right, Brian, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, their number one wide receiver is coming off an injury. Probably won't be available till late October, early October is my best guess. Their number 2 wide receiver is going to miss 3 games. Demarcus Robinson, to me, he's their number 2 wide receiver. I don't buy the Juwan Jennings things. I like him a lot. He's a possession slot receiver. That's his strength, in my opinion. Big body slot receiver. That's how I see Juwan. Maybe I'm alone in that. I'm curious what happens with Jordan Watkins and Isaiah Nayer. I like Isaiah Nayer's build. I was talking to Grant about it. What was that, last night? About Isaiah Nayer, 6'4" burner. Jordan Watkins is, shorter arms, but he looks like a possibility here. It does seem like the 49ers are really focusing on speed with Jacob Cowing, Watkins, Nayer. So I'm curious what they do, but to answer the question, it's by default. I'm sure Kyle will settle in with his guys, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, and a third wide receiver. I'm not sure which one that's going to be why Brandon Ayuk is out. But yeah, it's after the draft, it became the biggest concern for me outside of the obvious O-line that we know is going to be what it is. Wide receiver is a bigger concern for me. And so I'm very curious to see how that works out and if they struggle early on in the season without Robinson and without Brandon Ayuk.
What do you got for me, Grant?
This Gabe Davis thing, I don't think it has anything to do with Juwan. To me, Juwan is going to be the number one wide receiver on this team. He's not going to lead the team in catches. It'll be Kittle. But he had 113 targets last year in 15 games. I think he's going to have more than that this year because he's entering a contract year and Debo's gone. And I think this has to do with Pearsall. Pearsall is promising. He had that great game against the Lions. But really, if you look at his career, he had one great game, 2 other good games. And I mean, he has a whole lot to prove. After him, you don't know what you're going to get from Ayuk this year or DeMarcus Robinson. I think that's why they probably spent their first offensive draft pick on a wide receiver. And Jordan Watkins might be really good, but we've seen with at least Kyle Shanahan teams, it takes wide receivers 3 years before they really hit their stride. And sometimes they don't get on the field right away. So to me, this is all about wide receiver 2. And I don't think they're going to get Gabe Davis, but there is reasons to be at least have questions about Ricky Pearsall. I mean, how good is he really, and can he stay healthy?
Okay, so the way it sounded right now is that we all are not looking at Gabe Davis as a viable option to be a number one receiver or at least a force contributor. So that's right. Grant, you've already went towards Juwan Jennings. So I guess the question would be to throw back to you guys, who's got the most pressure in 2025? Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, or Brandon Ayuk?
I say Ricky. He's the first round draft pick. He's got to play like it. Yeah. Juwan Jennings has already surpassed any expectations.
That's true. The pressure for Juwan is the fact that he's in a contract year and he is expected to be the number one wide receiver when he's also the slowest wide receiver in the league. I mean, he has to make some incredibly difficult contested catches to like produce. And he did that last year. He's been doing it for a while, but he's got to keep doing it. It's not easy. He's not just like creating tons of separation the way Prime Ayuk did.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I tend to agree with Grant. I do think it's Juwan. Right now, we're going to be looking for a number one guy. And Kyle, no matter what we look at as far as, I know that we tend to go to height, weight, speed, what a guy looks like as a prototypical X, but Kyle goes with what is familiar, what guys he trusts. And Juwan Jennings is the most trusted receiver on this field outside of Brandon Ayuk. Do we agree with that? That it's Juwan.
Even more so than
Brandon.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree that Brock trusts him. So I agree. I think that the pressure is on Juwan because he's going to be taking the big boy routes. He's going to be being the number one. He's going to be the number one option in the route tree. I believe that he's on a contract year that Grant just mentioned. Right? He's going to be trying to get his money. So he's going to get his reps, right? Can he stay healthy?
And he's not exactly shy either. He's not going to be like.
Right. He's not going to hide away from it. Yeah. He's going to want it. So my thing is that he is a number 2. That's the reality. Can he elevate? Can he play outside of himself? Because what's kind of crazy is that that's already his calling card, that he's extra, right? That's what he does. He's pedal to the metal. He plays outside his frame. He blocks. He does everything at that high clip. Can we expect another level out of Juwan? Because even with what he gives us, he's still a number 2 receiver. He's going to have to show us something a little more.
I think
but the number one guy is Kittle, and he's old. They can't give him as many targets as Jennings. Sorry, you guys go.
I think we've seen what we're going to see from Juwan Jennings, and it's great.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to be a wide receiver 1. I don't think anybody should expect that from Juwan. I think what we should expect from Juwan is what we've seen, and what we've seen has been fantastic. But I really do think Ricky has the most pressure, being that he was, or Kyle does, to show that Ricky was worth pick 31 in the draft. I mean, he's a round 1 wide receiver. He can't be Juwan Jennings' little brother. He's got to be a round 1 wide receiver.
I agree with that. I like the Pearsall thing because the way I see it is Juwan Jennings, he's going to get paid. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to get paid, whether it's the 49ers or somebody else. because Kyle Shanahan trusts him already, and he's trusted in the offense, and he's trusted by Brock Purdy. He's going to get paid as long as he can stay healthy. Ayuk's already paid, so he's just trying to work back from an injury.
Paid by the Niners or paid in general?
Just in general. I don't know who's going to pay him, but he'll get paid as long as he can stay healthy because he's going to get the targets. He's trusted. Ricky Pearsall, still, I mean, we're a few years away from him even having the opportunity to get paid, but if he doesn't put together a good year in year 2, being the 31st pick overall, I mean, that's a lot of pressure. The fan base isn't going to be happy. And, you start to look at it and say, okay, well, you're 26, 27 years old. You can't produce in this league as a number 1 wide receiver. What are you really? And without Brandon Ayuk, somebody has to step into that role. We know Jennings can do it to a certain extent. He did it last year. What about Ricky, though? What can Ricky produce? Can he be a true number 2? Can he be a true number 1? So I like what Ryan said. I agree. I think the most pressure is on him.
I made a good point, Jesse. Ryan, you butchered it, but Jesse came back and saved it.
I appreciate it.
Ryan, I agree with your point. I think both points were made very well. Let's get into our next
swayed.
Did the 49ers actually get better this offseason? The draft is done. Free agency is settled, and big names like Debo are gone. Saleh and Kubiak are in, and the wide receiver room looks different. But bottom line, did the 49ers truly improve or just reshuffle the deck? Grant, I'm going to go ahead and reverse the order. I'll start with you.
No, they didn't get better.
Okay.
I mean, Ben Barch isn't better than Aaron Banks. Malik Mustafa's injured, and they knew that, and they let Talanoa Hufanga go anyway. Nick Martin isn't better than Dre Greenlaw yet. Alfred Collins might be a better run defender in theory than Malik Collins. Is he a better player than Malik Collins? Like, maybe. Upton Stout isn't a better player than Trevarius Ward. Like, maybe the Niners did all the things they were supposed to do, but I think it all stemmed from the fact that the Yorks spontaneously decided that they weren't going to spend as much on football this year, and I think they put the front office in a really awkward position. We heard John Lynch try to make the best of it, being like, Kyle was on vacation. I had to break the bad news to him. And then when we finally made some draft picks, he pulled me to the side and said that he could breathe for the first time in months. It's like, sounds really stressful. And I don't understand why such rich owners would do this. I mean, the Eagles don't just have a random year where they're like, hey guys, guess what? We're the A's this year. We're doing Moneyball this year. They tried to do a Moneyball offseason, and I think they did a good job trying to do a Moneyball offseason, but I don't understand why an organization worth this much money would even do that. But that's not really Kyle's fault.
Ryan.
I'm probably going to give an answer that you guys don't like because it's not definitive, but I think that's honestly the only truth to the matter is it depends on what happens with this rookie class. They're looking for 5 rookies to start. Are they going to be starters? Are they going to be good starters? How good are they? We won't know, possibly not even this year. So it's hard for me to say if they got better or worse. They got younger. Typically, younger means healthier. Statistically, the data backs that when you get younger, you're usually healthier. So that's a plus, but we won't know if they got better until we see what these guys can do. I'm not hugely sad about losing Aaron Banks. I thought Aaron Banks' second year was really good. I thought last year was not his best season, and I think he benefits by being next to Trent Williams. I think losing Debo is a good thing. I think they're going to be better without Debo than they were with him. Greenlaw concerns me. Huff concerns me. But what happens with these rookies? Are they going to be good or not? Time will tell. So it's hard for me to give you a definitive on that. Possibly they did get better, but we won't know.
I think for me, I have to parse it into 2 separate things. I don't know what's going to happen this season, just like I didn't know what was going to happen last season. If I would have told you this time last year, the 49ers are going to be 6-11, and players like Debo, Charvarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Aaron Banks, they're all going to be off the roster. You'd have been like, what? What is this team in the future? You would have kind of freaked out, and you would have looked at me like I had 3 eyes because you wouldn't believe it. But the season played out the way that it did. All I can truly do is look at what the roster was this time last year and look at what it is this time this year. The roster is not better. They did not get better compared to this time last year. Now, the season could play out and the rookies, to your point, Ryan, can really step up. Or maybe they're all busts. I don't know. I like what they did, but I don't know how it's going to play out. So I'm not saying that the season's going to be worse based off of what I'm saying, but what is clear to me is this roster right now is not better on paper than the roster that they put forth last year at this time. That is clear to me.
Yeah, and like the offensive line was the weakest position on the team. Mm-hmm. Aaron Banks isn't worth $19 million a year, but he's a solid starter. And you replace him with a few backups you hope can develop into solid starter. Maybe they will, but that just seems like you took a weakness and made it weaker.
Let me is all right, Coach, if I add a little something here?
Add away. There's more to add.
I would be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet all of you guys dinner, whatever it is, that this defense and the special teams, aside from Jake Moody, but the defense and the special teams will, in fact, be better this year, even with all of these rookies. I'd be willing to bet money on that because I believe in Robert Saleh that much. I think he's going to get this defense dialed in, and I like what I heard about the special teams coach, and I like the pieces that they're popping in there. So I actually think the defense and special teams will be better.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan, what if I say that, two of the rookies really aren't that good, and Fred Warner gets hurt for half the season? Like we don't know what's going to happen.
Here's what I'll say to that.
That's what I was.
Here's what I would say to that, though.
Yeah,
I would say Fred Warner was hurt last season, and two of the defensive linemen that played last season weren't good. But now they got Robert Saleh. All
right. Well, let me just go ahead and put another spin on this. Just to contextualize how you guys feel. Let's stack this against the NFC West. All right. So not only do we look at what we are presently constructed, but let's look at the other teams within our division. Did those teams get better? Are they better from where they were last year? Right. And I think that would also kind of put us in the right position of where we stand against the people that are in our division. So I'll start with you, Jesse. What do you think about the rest of the division juxtaposed to where we stand? Did the Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, and the
Los Angeles Rams
Rams
the Rams got better. The Rams got better, in my opinion. The Cardinals definitely got better. They made the biggest leaps in the division. I think Seattle basically is flat year over year. To me, maybe even slightly worse. I think they're in a similar situation as the 49ers, but Arizona 100% got better. They spent a lot of money. Obviously, we don't know what rookies are going to be, but I do like their draft. And they fixed that defensive line. They completely retooled it. That was their biggest weakness last year. They revamped it completely on the fly. And then the Rams added Devontae Adams, who's much better than Kupp. And then they added Poona Ford to that defensive line that was already pretty dominant down the stretch. I mean, that's a big get. He's a legitimate run stopper in this league. So, yeah, I would say those two teams got better. Seattle probably not so much. And I would say the 49ers not so much.
What do you got about Seattle?
Go ahead, Grant.
The thing about Seattle is they got a new offensive coordinator. The guy they had last year was a college coordinator from Washington who's now at Alabama. Now they have Clint Kubiak, who I don't know if he's good, but he's an NFL coordinator. And I think moving on from DK and Geno isn't the end of the world. I think they'll have like a better offense overall, just from a schematic perspective. And I did like their draft. I thought their draft was nice. Yeah, and they never have losing seasons. Like they were 10-7. They're going to win at least 8 games this year.
Ryan, what do you feel like how we stand up against our division rivals?
Yeah, I don't know if we stand up any better. Hopefully we're not 4th place. 3rd place would be great. But it would not surprise me if that's the limit to it. I do think the Cardinals and the Rams are going to be pretty good this year. Seattle, I don't know. I'm not sure with the Niners either, but I do think everyone got better. But this is the time of year where everybody thinks their team got better, right? Because of the rookies, but it's like, how does it play out? So I'm just really confident in Robert Saleh, man. I really think. And then here's the other thing: we got rid of what's the guy's name? Campbell, the linebacker on defense.
Who should not be named?
Right? Like how can we do worse? How can we do worse?
Lord.
Right? I'm surprised you guys aren't more enthusiastic about the Cardinals after they drafted Walter Nolan.
Yeah, I mean,
and Will Johnson.
And you know what? This is why I love you, Grant, because you're petty Betty, like I am. All of this glazing that we did over Walter Nolan, and now all of a sudden it's kind of like,
I just said
they got
better,
Walter
though.
Nolan.
Yeah,
I said they got better.
Yeah, you did. You
I
did.
know you did. Not you. But I'm just
The
saying.
problem with the Cardinals is Kyler.
Yeah.
That's
And Call of
exactly
Duty. I don't know,
problem is.
chicken or the egg kind of thing, but
it's the seasons, Grant. That's what kind of gets him off. It's the seasons within Call of Duty that throw him off. He doesn't get the right DLC. Got a couple of picks coming. It is what it is. So,
but you guys remember how bad Nick Sorensen was? The defense is going to be better. Campbell was horrible. Sorensen was horrible. The defense is going to be better. I really believe that. I really do.
Listen, if I'm predicting a record, I don't think their record will be worse. I'm just looking at it player for player last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not better on paper. That doesn't mean that, travel doesn't come into play, and health and coaching, all that will matter. Schedule, everything will matter. And I don't think they're going to have a worse season, but on paper, they're not. You don't lose. This is the same team that thought they were a Dre Greenlaw away from winning the Super Bowl the year prior. So you don't remove him and Hufanga and all those other names and get better on paper. You can't. It's not possible.
Yeah, maybe this
by
time
the end of the season when the young guys develop. But you know what really hurt the Niners next season? If Trent Williams didn't play.
O-line.
Oh,
It's everybody knows they didn't do it this year. Hopefully they can find something at left guard. But by next year, the 49ers could be going into the draft looking for an entire new offensive line. Minus Dominic Pooney.
Yeah. Yeah. It could.
That's a real thing. And don't look now, but Colton McKivitz is putting on a lot of muscle weight. Colton McKivitz looks good. I've been following him through social media. Colton McKivitz he's coming in looking like he's looking for real money.
He's going to price himself out for sure.
He is going to price himself out. He's making $7 million a year for us. He's going to price himself out, and we're not going to be able to afford him. So look for that too. So we did it to ourselves. But as you can see, they're kind of virtue signaling towards it. They're bringing in all of these tackles and bringing in these guys to kind of soften the blow. But it's here. They have not poured into the. We've been talking this offensive line song in for season. But anyway, let's get into our next topic, guys. Robert Saleh, DC or defensive head coach. Robert Saleh didn't just return, but he came back with the head coach credentials and a voice louder than most coordinators. Some inside the building are calling him the head coach of the defense, as we know. After having full control in New York, how much leash will Kyle give him in San Francisco? And will their philosophies clash when the heat is on this season? I'll start with you, Grant.
Who's you?
Grant. I said I'll start with you, Grant.
Yeah, you cut out. Your mic cut out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll start with you, Grant. Sorry.
I think it's going to be hard for us to know. I think this is going to be behind closed doors, and it's going to be how Jed York looks at him. He gave us a peek with all those tweets during the draft.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how Kyle felt about that. But I think we're going to see. I don't know, man. I don't think Kyle's going to like that. I think Kyle's always aware of the narratives around his team, and I don't think he likes the narrative that Saleh's come back to save him. That Saleh's a co-head coach. Like. I asked during the draft, hey, what kind of an influence has Saleh had on this draft? And Lynch answered, and Kyle was like, it's my turn. We have scouts. We have lots of coaches. We've been doing this for 9 years. It's like, okay, I was just asking about one guy. I think he's a little sensitive to that and that narrative. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see as much Saleh. Like he's not constantly being panned to on the sideline during games. But he is going to be the guy behind the curtain. I mean, he's as important as Kyle, if not more important, because when this team is good, it's a defensive identity team every time.
Definitely. Ryan, how do you feel about this?
I think I feel the opposite. I feel like Kyle's going to be more hands-off with the defense than he ever has been because Robert Saleh has proven it with the 49ers. He's proven that he can be a head coach. And he's coming back heavily recruited by the Niners. They really wanted him in here. You saw by the players drafted that obviously he has some say in regards to that. I think Robert Saleh is going to be running the defense, and I think that's a great thing because Kyle can focus more on his job, which is being a head coach and an offensive coordinator. Technically, he's not the offensive coordinator either yet right now, but he really is. But I think this is going to be good for Kyle. I think he's going to trust Robert Saleh, his old friend who came back, who knows what to do, has built defenses and had success. And I think it's going to be good for the 49ers.
I think both of you are actually right here. I think as far as a schematic standpoint and the day-to-day, this is great for Kyle Shanahan. This is going to allow him to truly focus on the offense, being the quote-unquote offensive coordinator on game days, which is what he does anyways. He's not going to have to be in the meeting rooms. If you look at the way the last 2 seasons have played out for him, he didn't trust Wilks after the cover 0 blitz, as Leaving pointed out. So he was constantly in the room coming up with game plans. He clearly didn't trust a first-time rookie defensive coordinator. So he was in that room a lot throughout the season, helping him game plan and come up with a plan for that week's games. So this year, now he knows, I can trust Robert Saleh. I can trust this defense. He can game plan. Obviously, he runs it by me. We agree. But overall, I don't need to spend time in the day-to-day helping that room out. I can do my own thing and focus on that. However, where Grant is right, in my opinion, is if this season goes south and that defense is doing what it's supposed to do and that offense is not doing what it's supposed to do, all of a sudden, Saleh looks like a savior. Kyle Shanahan looks like a bit of a schmuck. He's not going to like that narrative. And I think that can cause tension. We'll see how it plays out. But I think both of you, to a certain extent, are actually right on this one.
And well, what happens if like Saleh's defense does well, Niners miss the playoffs, and Saleh's getting interviewed for other teams to be the head coach, and the Yorks feel like they're going to lose him?
You're going to lose him. Yeah. And they'd be well within their right to try to keep him. I mean, that'd just be smart. On top of the fact that this would be going into year 10 with Kyle, they'd be well within their right to start looking around. I do have another question for this topic, though, guys. What immediate differences do you plan on seeing with the Saleh effect? What are some of the things that we can start seeing, especially from the defense or maybe just holistically from the team? What do you expect to see? And you can pretty much pinpoint and say that's an effect of Robert Saleh being. What are some of those things that are just going to be undeniable looking at the team? I'll start with you, Ryan, and then I'll have a random guy.
How about competency? How about that? We'll start with that one. Right. I think he's going to make a difference there, especially like run game. We obviously saw by who they picked that the big focus is on stopping the run. And that's where good defenses, that's where it starts. You have to be able to stop the run. They've struggled in that area in the last year and a half. And I think that's where we're going to see the biggest differences by the players they drafted and the focus Robert Saleh puts on it. Getting back to swarm tackling, that whole thing that was very popular with the Niners, when Robert Saleh was here. I also think we're going to see more variation and dynamic with how they approach blitzing, not just 4-man rushing downhill. You'll see stunts, you'll see twists. I think you'll have nickels blitzing. I think it's going to be more dynamic of a defense. Another reason, like, I know I'm super optimistic right now, but it's freaking May 13th. But it's another reason why I'm excited to see Robert Saleh back.
You were at training camp with me, Coach. We were at training camp. We saw how flat it was last year. It was palpable. We felt it. We talked about it on a regular basis, and I think it showed itself during the season. One thing we do know is that Robert Saleh is going to bring that energy, and that energy is going to play throughout the course of the whole team, not just the defense. So that is going to be a shift. I believe if we're at training camp this year, we will feel the difference, and that is a Robert Saleh effect.
Anything that will point out that would stick out to you early on, Grant, that you'd be looking for?
Well, yeah. I mean, he wants to have extreme violence. He wants to have speed. Like, he would never have had Devondre Campbell on his defense. Mm-hmm. He's going to have, we see it. He's going to have really young players, and he's not going to be afraid of that the way Nick Sorensen was afraid of it. He wanted vets for whatever reason. Saleh's going to have the confidence that he can put inexperienced, explosive young players on the field, and they'll do really well. It's what Pete Carroll did with the Seahawks 15 years ago with the Legion of Boom. Those guys were all really young and on the field right away, and the defense was simple. The whole idea was we'll be the fastest defense in the league. We'll be the most violent defense in the league. We don't have to be the most sophisticated defense in the league.
Just outplay you.
Yeah, although on third down, Saleh is very sophisticated with his pressure packages, but like, what's going to make this defense is going to be how how it embraced youth in ways that like Kyle's team hasn't in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah. Kyle is really big on sticking with the name and staying with it. You know, he gets touted as having ingenuity right early on because of the birth of the player, but once he finds a guy, it's really hard to get him off of it. So I agree with that. Let's get to some super chats real quick, guys. Jewish guy, thanks. What a great name for the show. Great job, coach. You're welcome. Davisms, Patriot Builders of Montana, 5 best people on the internet. Love you guys. Thank you. Love yous. That's a Pennsylvania guy.
There's only 4 of us.
I think he's including himself.
Oh, okay.
Joseph Thunberg, we are easily the worst in the NFC West still. I would agree with that. I mean, I think that we're neck and neck with Seattle, but Arizona and the Rams are definitely, they seem to be on the upward tick. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna say the Rams
on paper.
I'm gonna say the Rams are no question, in my opinion, 1 right now. But like Cardinals haven't done shit. Seahawks haven't done shit. Excuse my language. You know, so like it's still.
You know where you at?
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like Niners could possibly be 4th.
But like the Niners did shit in 2023, so that makes them more of a threat. Like, okay, I guess if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy.
Well, yeah. The head coach of the 49ers did bring him to the Super Bowl twice. That's more than what the Cardinals have done, or more than what the Seahawks have done.
Are we talking about now, though?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the Rams have won a Super Bowl. They look 100% better. I would put them at number 1 right now, and you know we could rank the rest any way we want to, but I'm just saying like it's still like prove it. Like,
look, let me just say as the resident Cardinal super fan here, Jonathan Gannon. Okay, Jonathan Gannon went from 4-13 in year 1 to 8-9 in year 2. Just imagine what a Jonathan Gannon led team could look like in year 3. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
12-5, 13-4. Hard to say.
Brandon Green, thank you. Juwan Jennings will be a Bronco in 2026. There's a possibility that could be true.
The team is loaded.
And Shyla Q, who do you think has more pressure going into the season, Saleh or Kyle? P.S. Mr. Fuvity.
Kyle.
I say Kyle
for sure. Yeah.
Kyle for sure.
It's his team. Guys.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into our next topic. Can Clay Kubiak evolve Kyle's offense? Clay Kubiak is technically the new offensive coordinator, but in Kyle Shanahan's world, that title doesn't come with full control. So what impact can Kubiak actually have on this offense? Will we see new wrinkles or downfield concepts, or is it just a continuation of Kyle's same script with a new name on it? I'll start with you, Jesse.
I mean, it's obvious that he trusts Clay Kubiak. The fact that he let him call plays last year was mind-boggling. We've never seen him do that. So
sure,
if Clay can bring something brilliant to the table, then I'm sure that Kyle will implement it. The thing about Kyle is that it sounds like his offense in the past has been a pretty collaborative effort. If he has guys in the building that he trusts, Clay is clearly one of those guys, so he will trust him to help him come up with a game plan. But ultimately, when the plays are called, the situations in which he calls them, that is 100% a Kyle thing. And everything does run through Kyle. So, you know, the offense is only going to evolve as much as Kyle will let it. And Clay will certainly be a part of that, but he's not going to have final say by any means. And whether Kyle implements the things that Clay suggests is up to Kyle. Saleh, and to what Ryan was saying, allows Kyle to evolve the offense more than ever because he trusts the defensive coordinator, which means he can spend all offseason self-scouting versus worrying about how am I going to make the defense better? How am I going to juggle everything? Because in the past, he really is kind of a control freak. So he has to have his hand in everything. Now that he has a defensive coordinator he can trust, that allows him to really focus in on the offense. So I think Saleh in an odd way allows this offense to evolve more than Clay Kubiak, who was there last year.
Ryan.
Yeah, like don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, right? Like I don't care what Clay Kubiak's title is. He's got the same role as he did last year.
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't see much. Here's what I do see evolving the offense. What Jesse just talked about, Kyle having more time to focus on it. But the loss of Deebo Samuel is going to evolve this offense more than anything, in my opinion. that crutch is gone for Kyle. He's going to have to figure out how to generate offense without Deebo Samuel.
We already know what his solution is going to be, Ryan.
What is it? Juice?
More Christian
McCaffrey.
More Christian. Yeah.
Could I interest you in a little bit of CMC?
This season to me is 100% dependent on Christian McCaffrey.
They win.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Thank you, Grant. Right. We totally jutted in on your take. Sorry, Ryan.
Sorry.
Grant. Go ahead.
I agree with Ryan. I mean, his Clay Kubiak's promotion felt like Kyle Shanahan almost making a concession to his critics. Like, okay, I just had a really bad year. I got to give you something. I will promote someone to offensive. You guys all say I need an offensive coordinator, right? Or maybe it's something that his bosses wanted. Maybe the Yorks were like, dude, you got to do something, man, because you're spread too thin. It just felt like a token move. But it's like, even if you ask Clay Kubiak, it's like, yeah, I've kind of been doing this. Nothing's really going to change. So I don't know if the offense is going to evolve. It's still going to be under center, play action, fullback on the field. I don't think we've ever seen big evolutions from Kyle. They added Deebo Samuel and Christian, but it's like, we know what their talent is this year. I don't think all of a sudden they're gonna be like a spread shotgun RPO style offense. It's gonna be essentially the same thing, and that's why to me my biggest question this year is the offense, not the special teams, not the defense. It's the offense. It's old. It's expensive and it's injury prone. Like, why is this year going to be better? The offensive line is worse. Trent Williams is older. Kittle is older and paid. Like, I'd love to see this offense actually put it together, but I feel like the odds are that it won't.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna, who's gonna evolve this offense? Mac freaking Jones is gonna evolve this offense.
That's right.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, I agree. The weakest element of this team right now is the offense. As Grant said, for all of the reasons. They're old. The offense is outdated. And they come with the same mode of how they're going to move the ball down the field week in and week out. I mean, it's honestly a shame that we can call out what we can expect in this offense just in game time, right? We know that if the first 10 plays of the script are working, then we might have a game on our hands, right? They're going to move the ball, especially if we're playing against an offense with glaring holes that Kyle can spam over and over and over again in the same formation, just in different ways, right? If we do get a team that Kyle doesn't feel like we can run the ball on, what are we going to do? We're going to run screens. We're going to run now routes. We're going to throw the ball to the edges of the line of scrimmage, or we're going to drop back with Brock in 7-step drops that don't make any sense. We're not going to go quick game because we don't have one. We're not going to go 2-minute when we need one because we don't practice it. We're not going to run the ball in the red zone because the offensive line is not strong enough. And CMC is just going to keep getting ran into the ground until he gets injured.
Also, it's all about the defense. Like, if the defense is good and the offense can have a little bit of a lead, then play action is available and they're fine. But if the defense isn't good and they have to play from behind and play action isn't a factor, they're not good. It's a complementary offense.
100%. And
play action, complementary offense.
We also don't forget about the customary 3 drives that we need to get the offense going. So if the defense isn't getting the ball back to the offense within the first quarter of the game, then we're screwed because we can't play against teams that start fast. If our defense is getting scored on in the very first drive, it could be a hard-fought drive. It could be an 80-yard drive, 85-yard drive, 15-plus plays. Defense fought their heart out, but they just got to come back and recalibrate. But at the end of the day, they fought hard, right? We made them earn that 6. Offense can come right out and sputter for 3 downs, 3 and out, poof, throw the defense back on the field, and then we're messed up for the rest of the game. We've seen that tons of times. So really, there's a couple of things that I have for this offense. Will they have a 2-minute offense? All right. Will they? Come on, let's just be honest. Like, will you have a 2-minute offense? All right. Hey, were you going to play tempo once? It finally took until week 15, 16 for them to start running hurry up in the game, changing the tempo of the game, walking up and using the entire play clock every down like we're freaking Alabama and Georgia, where we just got the dogs. Don't worry about our time. We just got to get you in the right place. And once we snap the ball, then it's go time. We have no sense of urgency. So honestly, I would like to see some wrinkles in the offense. The plays, God love him, Kyle's not going to change. But his approach, that could change. And that could make this offense a lot better than what it was. The biggest issue that I had with the offense last year is not the injuries, not the fact that we ignored offensive line, presumably in some areas, or the fact that people weren't available when we needed to. But it's that we didn't play with a sense of urgency. We did not play our hardest every game. We played against teams where we knew we were going to lose, and Kyle ran the offense like, we're going to lose. We're just trying to save a big blowout. And the blowout happened anyway. You remember the Bills game? That was disgusting. Looking ladder. Come on. So
and it's look, like, Kyle, can you get the best players on the field, please? Can you get some young guys on the field, please? I mean, I know you like Kyle Juszczyk and you trust him and he's solid at his job, but can you get Jordan Watkins on the field? Can you get Jacob Cowing on the field? Can you get Jordan James on the field? You need to.
That's something that I mentioned as well that I cannot wait to see once Saleh comes back, which is if you are not good, you're not playing. The guys on the field make sense. All right. The guys who need a shot make sense. The guys who are having bad games, there is a cause and effect to what we see on defense. Offensively, we can have guys that just are buried. They will not get a shot. We don't understand. If there's a guy that's a starter that's not necessarily good at his job, Kyle just rides with them. He's more preoccupied with the fact of we care about who was right or wrong rather than us fixing the immediate issue. So that's a wrinkle we could see where do we have a true meritocracy on offense? Okay, I understand that Brock is going to be the guy that you pay, but can we truly get the best guys on the field who deserve to be on the field, right? So I believe that there's a lot of wrinkles that we can see just in approach. I do agree with you guys as far as the actual offense. It's not going to change. I believe that Kyle's scheme is his scheme, especially the way he rolls it out. But there are some elements that could be added that I would love to see, as well as, like we mentioned, the approach. But let's move into our next topic, which is one injury away. Which position group can't afford a hit? Every NFL roster has soft spots, and even the Super Bowl contender like the 49ers has units that can't afford to lose a single starter. Where's the depth thinnest heading into camp, and which position group would create the biggest domino effect if it caught on an injury? So I'll start with
You'll start with who? Sorry, your mic cut out.
Jesse.
Okay. To me, this is not a position that has the best player at it, but this is a position that's already thin because they might have to start a rookie. They might be playing a third-year guy who seemingly regressed last year, and their best player is already out due to injury. We'll see for how long, and that's the safety group. What would they do if they had an injury there? I mean, you're already potentially starting two guys that shouldn't be starters, at least not yet in this league. And so if one of those guys goes down, where's the depth at? So I think for me, safety is where they can least afford an injury, especially early on in the season until Malik Mustafa is back, because they're already very, very thin at that position.
Brian.
Can I go? I'll go two different positions, two specific players, though, if that's okay.
All right.
Linebacker.
Grant, will you allow it? I saw you furrow your brow.
Sorry, I'm thinking through my answer right now.
All right.
Linebacker would be
talking to myself.
If Fred Warner goes down and they have to roll with all these young, inexperienced linebackers, that's a big concern. Not just because of Fred's ability, but his leadership and, how he runs the show out there. So that's a big one for me. And like I said earlier in the show, I think this is Christian McCaffrey's team. If he's healthy and playing like he used to play, sky's the limit for this offense. If he's not, it could look like it did last year. So those are the two things that I'm really worried about. You want to say quarterback, but Mac Jones could come in here and win 6 games. So, that doesn't scare me as much as losing Christian McCaffrey, because I think he's the guy that can elevate this team to win far beyond 6 games. And then linebacker, Fred Warner.
I'm disappointed in both of you. I think, Grant, don't let me down. None of you have named my group yet. Go ahead, Grant.
I may not be naming your group. I would have said offensive tackle, but I kind of like the fact that they went out and signed DJ Humphries and Nicholas Petit-Frere and Andre Dillard.
I got faith
Those are
in
pretty good signings. To me, like the one position group they really haven't addressed seriously. I mean, imagine if Dominic Pooney were to get injured. Their starting guards would be Ben Barch and Spencer Burford. Those aren't starting guards. You'd have two backups starting. And imagine if Jake Brendel were to go down in the interior. You'd have Nick Zakelj starting. So I don't know why they've been so casual about the interior of their offensive line. Dominic Pooney's a hell of a player. And I think we all kind of assumed they would maybe try to take another guard around the same spot since they had success with that last year. And instead they got Connor Colby and Drew Moss. I mean, maybe they're really good. We'll see, but it doesn't really seem that serious. And then again, if they lose the other one, they gave George Kittle a lot of money this year because he's the Iron Man. Because he always plays, but he's also hurt too. Now he's got guaranteed money. Like what if George Kittle misses half the season or more? How much do you really like Luke Farrell and Ross Dwelley? As much as me? Probably not.
That's my number one group. Tight end. George. I knew you wouldn't let me down. George.
Get there eventually.
And the tight end group is, for me, is by far the most suspect group that has the biggest drop off. And we've been getting away with it because, as Grant mentioned, George Kittle is the Iron Man of this team. Not only does he, it's not the fact that he doesn't get hurt, he just plays through it. And we've kind of taken advantage of that over the years and taken it for granted, so to speak. But with the guaranteed money, man, $35 million that guarantees, 19.1 million a year at age 32. He plays 74.9% of the snaps, and his closest backup is Ross Dwelley. That's a hell of a drop off. All right. We're not even going to be looking at Eric Saubert and Luke Farrell. All right. Braden Willis, Jake Tungus, and Mason Pline. That is a huge drop off. And to be honest, one of the reasons why Grant is, we talked about tackle. Grant mentioned interior offensive line. One of the reasons why they feel so bold about that is because they have George Kittle to block, right? Like what he does to help out on the edge and to help the offensive line is invaluable. If they lose George Kittle, that's the whole offense, in my opinion. I don't care what CMC does. If George Kittle can't block, then that's just where we stand with. That's the thinnest group in the offense. I feel like Jesse is about to try to. Okay, so before I stop
I'm going to weasel my way into this one. Exactly why I'm right. Go ahead.
Grant, look alive. There's a snake in the hen house. So right now, what Jesse is about to do is he's about to circle the block on a conversation in a debate.
No, I'm not.
There you go, Grant. I'm
100% not going to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Yeah. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not spinning the block on that.
I saw his face, Grant. I knew what he was about to do. Like, now Kittle.
No. Go ahead. No. What I was going to say though is you guys named a player, not a position group. If any other tight end goes down, who gives a crap? Right? If George Kittle goes down, of course it's a man. But when I say safety, they can't lose any of those guys. They're already down to the worst two, so they can't lose anybody. Otherwise, it's like, who the hell is going to play? You're already down to, like I said, at this point, most likely a rookie that we don't know what he is. And
he's Siegel. He's hurt too. Marquis Siegel. He's hurt too.
Siegel's hurt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Beanie Siegel's hurt too. That's great. So we got Siegel hurt, we got Malik Mustafa hurt, and we got Jair Brown coming off of a regression year. What does the safety group look like? You add another injury to it. What the hell is there? So I think
Richie Grant and Jason Pinnock, baby.
Fred Warner, not great. Trent Williams, CMC. But if you lose another player on that position group, who gives a crap? That's the way I see it.
I understand where you're coming from. It's like, it's so bad that, literally one more injury could complete the entire group. I understand that.
But Coach, sleeping on Mason Pline is crazy work. I don't know, something about that kid. Something about that kid. I like, man.
TBD, man. I mean, look, I'm not trying to hate on the kid, but look at it this way. It's not his fault, but the Niners have been trying to solve this heir apparent, or not even heir apparent, but just can we just have a number two? Like Ross Dwelley is almost I almost missed Ross. When they said we signed Ross Dwelly back, I was like, you know what? At least we got some consistency. Hell yeah, bring him back. Like, at least we got a guy where we know what he can do. He's going to be consistent at what he does, and we know what to get out of him. Outside of Ross Dwelly, we really haven't had a number 2 tight end that's been serviceable. I mean, we drafted Charlie Warner, got priced out the game with him, and then turned around and paid a tight end more money than what, Jess?
Cam Latu's a free agent. This can be solved very easily.
Bro, chill out, son. Don't try to get my man straight. You know how I feel about that. Okay, Cam Latu was a bust. We understand. I get it. But I just think that this is something, as far as, tight end is concerned, they've been trying to fix this for a while, and they can't get it done.
Have you guys seen Luke Farrell block? Have you watched it?
Whew. It's magical, really.
How crazy is it, Grant?
It's like Steph Curry shooting threes, Luke Farrell blocking. It's kind of it's a spiritual experience.
This shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Hey, look, man, it's only as good as it gets, man. So look, guys, let me get one more super chat out of the way, and we're about to get out of here. Make this one quick. Davisms, Patriot Builders of Montana. Y'all need to try Ryan's wife's soap. Best ever used. How good is the soap, Ryan?
Honestly? Hey, no BS. It's the best. I'm not just saying this because that stuff, that Dove, that Irish Spring BS, it's all detergent. Dries your skin out. I'm telling you, try my wife's soap. It's hella good. No lie. No BS.
That's all I have.
TacinaSoap.com.
Try Ryan's wife's soap. You'll love it. All right. Grant's tried it. I haven't tried it. Jesse hasn't tried it. Grant has not tried it. But
I have Dove and Irish Springs. So now I feel like that was a personal shot, and I got to try this soap.
Trust me.
Hey, Dove, just treat yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. All he's doing is trying to introduce you to the finer things in life. You know what I'm saying? Boutique soaps feel really good in the shower.
I'm going to say this. They bought 6 of them, and Jesse, Coach, and Grant have bought 0. Thank you, Dave.
Oh,
thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, so Dave, all right, look, man. I'll buy some soap, man.
Put me down for 10.
Yeah, put me down. But we'll get some soaps, man.
Hold on. Ryan knows exactly what I'm talking about because he has kids, but this is the Girl Scout cookie, the baseball team chocolate right now. Ryan, you're doing all the selling for the wife just like you would your kids. I like this. This is
bars.
The soap sells itself. She sold 36 bars already, guys. Go jump on
36 bars.
Put me out for 20.
All right, I'll do it.
Yo, we got to get out of here before Greg gets to 100. Yo, look. Yo, it's been good, y'all. This is a good
serious
show,
FOMO right now.
And you guys, who's got it next? Who's who's up?
Jesse? My channel.
Jesse.
Mine and then Grant.
Jesse. It's going to be Jesse next week, guys. Hey, thank you again for coming in. This is the coach, Ryan G. Hensley, Jesse Naylor, Grant Cohn. Holla at you guys. Peace.